When you're asked where you live, you probably don't respond that you live on the planet Earth. You most likely choose the more popular answer, which is the town or state that you live in. Either way is alright, but do you realize on how small of a scale you're answering the question? That your town, state, country, even the planet Earth is a very, very small part of a gigantic picture? The book I read was called A Most Improbable Journey by Walter Alvarez. It shows how Earth formed, where life came from, and does a great job portraying how big the universe really is. The purpose of this book is to dive into a scientific field called Big History. Big History is an academic discipline which examines history from the Big Bang to the present. It examines human existence in the bigger picture. I found this book interesting because of the many subjects it talks about. Every chapter is a different part of existence itself. It's really hard not to find a topic you don't find interesting. The author even went on some of his own expeditions into New Mexico to expand his knowledge of tectonic plates. He believes tectonic plates are amazing because without them we wouldn't have some of Earth's greatest features, primarily mountains. One of my favorite parts of this fantastic book was called The Great Journey. He talks about how our species was slow-moving but ubiquitous. There's a lot of good information about who inhabited all the land at specific times in history. Imagine if you thought that the country you lived in was the only place people lived in the world, but then you go on a vacation and accidentally stumble upon some new, undiscovered land. This is what happened to many explorers during the European Middle Ages, because many Europeans were curious about what else could be out there. One of these famous explorers was someone you most likely have heard of, Christopher Columbus. We've all heard the story of how he discovered America, but what do you know of what he found when he arrived in America for the first time? Did you know that there was already people there before Columbus? That's the reason I like this book. It expands upon what you know by adding further detail about what happened before and after an event. And this book answers how each event happened. This book relates to our science class because the beginning chapters are all about layers of rock and fossils of ancient animals. The author describes one of his findings. At the top of the cliff there were microfossils from the very old Tertiary, and in between was the massive sand layer. If it was Ajax from Chicxulub, then the crater was exactly the right age. This relates to exactly what we did in science class when we were identifying the age of rocks and fossils through the layers that they were found. What were the odds that human life came to exist? How is it possible that Earth is the only planet discovered to have life upon it? What came before we were here, and what's going to happen to humanity in the future? If you have the patience to sit down and give this book a good chance by trying to comprehend all the deeper meaning behind the facts that this book gives you, then I truly recommend that you read A Most Improbable Journey by Walter Alvarez.